Hi, and welcome to the second episode in my Kyrgyzstan road trip series. Last time we went over the nuts and bolts of travel in Kyrgyzstan, and this time we're going to actually do some exploring in the capital, Bishkek. If you watched my Baltic series, you'll know I have a bit of an obsession with Soviet architecture. If you love it too, then Bishkek will be a delight for you. Even though they're doing a lot of new construction and refacing old buildings, you can still see the Soviet influence everywhere you look. But I was interested in particular mosaics, architecture, bas-reliefs, and sculptures. I pinned these on my map before I got there, and I spent my time in Bishkek on a Soviet scavenger hunt of sorts. For the most part, the locations I found online were fairly accurate, and if you have more time than I did, there's even more to see than what I'm going to show you here. So let's begin our hunt. The first mosaic I walked to was Lenin is With Us, created in 1978. It's kind of a combo of a bas-relief and a mosaic. It's supposed to represent typical Soviet people like a Red Army soldier, male and female students, a scholar, a scientist, a young pioneer, a worker, etc. A lot of times when you see Lenin, he'll be depicted with an outstretched arm. This is supposedly to signify him pointing the way to the promising future under communism. I then came across a 1967 mosaic called Radio and Nowadays on what was the telecommunications office. This was made using local stones, pebbles, and cheaper tiles than some of the other mosaics. And even though this building was being remodeled while I was there, luckily they preserved the mosaic. Here you can see what it looked like before it got its facelift. Next up was the large mosaic called the Path of Enlightenment, which, despite its name, is not a Buddhist mosaic. It was created in 1978, although I've seen some sources say 1974, and it's on the entrance to one of the buildings at the Kyrgyz National University. This has a much softer, dreamier-like appearance compared to many of the other Soviet mosaics. Back then, art had to be accessible and easily understandable to the common people without explanation or interpretation. The Kyrgyz Union of Artists had a lot of say over what an artist could and could not do, so the approval of this mosaic caused quite a stir because it deviated so much from the realist Soviet style. Another cool fact about this mural is that the tiles are made from smalt, which is a type of cobalt glass coming from the Baltic. Continuing on, I came to Fathers of the Nation Monument. This was unveiled in 1995, and there actually used to be bronze, life-sized sculptures of the prominent people featured on this monument, such as doctors, geologists, a poet, a filmmaker, a politician, a composer, and an opera singer. But these sculptures slowly started to disappear, and it's believed they were stolen and sold as scrap metal. It's looking rather neglected now. Oh, they have like really pretty flowers lining that over there. And then they have like this cute little park area. All those flowers down there. Ooh, and there's the mountains back there. They're really pretty. One thing I liked about Bishkek was that they had a lot of parks and green areas to walk around. One such area was around the Kyrgyz National Philharmonic building. It was completed in 1980 and has a nice brutalist look to it. There's a large statue of Manas, a folkloric hero in Kyrgyz culture, known for uniting the 40 clans of Kyrgyzstan. The Epic of Manas is considered the longest historical epic poem known. Maybe it's pronounced Manas, I don't really know. I'm calling it Manas though. I'm loving all the flowers and plants that they have here. It's so pretty. And we've got some nice Soviet buildings. I think this is their Philharmonic. It's kind of cool. As I continued my walk, I came to the Maxim Gorky Monument covered in birdshite. I then found the Sports Palace built in 1974. Staircase going, spiraling up it. It looks totally abandoned. Whoa. Okay, we'll come around the front side. Like the Philharmonic, this one has a large statue out front. But this time the statue is dedicated to this guy who was a 7.5 foot tall, 350 plus pound gentle giant that excelled at wrestling. Don't know what that is. Oh, look at that. So they used to have flowers all over here. It looks like they still have flowers there. But look, it's all dirt here. And then look, inside is completely empty. Get like doors. The flooring is all like mosaic style, of course. There's like some table in there. And like, I don't know what that is. What the hell? Coat racks? I don't know. Okay, the handle looks like a telephone. I thought it was abandoned, but according to Google reviews, they're still holding events here. This place looks, I thought abandoned, but there's lights on inside. I then located the 1984 mosaic called Our Work to You, Motherland, out front of a textile factory. There was even a QR code placard thing in front of this one, so I guess this one you can find information about if you scan that. The exterior of the factory looked like it had seen better days. I'm just kind of curious, like, are these apartments or what? Like factories, things? Maybe these are like factories. Look at that. Some of them have like cloths in the window and stuff. There's like stuff blowing out. I don't really know what this building is. It looks abandoned though, but it's not. See, there's like curtains and stuff in there. Gate outside, like going all along the whole thing has this like fancy thing on it. I ended up in this part of the city, which is full of things to see. First, I walked around the Panfilov Park, which is full of trees and flowers, almost like a little amusement park. I then went past the White House, a Stalinist modern-style building completed in 1985. And no, not like our White House, the president does not live there. It was built to be the headquarters of the Soviet Union's Communist Party's Central Committee. There was violent anti-government protests here in 2005 and again in 2010. Moving on, I came to Alatu Square, which was getting set up for their Independence Day celebration. This is obviously like the tourist hotspot where everybody's taking pictures and videos. Whoa. By the way, in the park was this stand selling 3 drinks. Again, don't know if I'm pronouncing this right, but you have Maxim, Chalop, and Kvass. You will find these everywhere. The red one is made from barley, wheat, millet, or corn. The blue one is made from fermented milk, and the brown one is Kvass. Some people get Aralash, which is a mix of the blue and the red, and it's supposed to be very refreshing. While there, I checked out the next monument on my map, the Friendship Monument, which was erected in 1974 to celebrate 100 years of friendship with Russia. The 2 white marble pillars are surrounded by a ring of figures that depicts Kyrgyz and Russian people united. Right next to the white marble Friendship Monument is another white marble site to see, the State History Museum, built in 1984. It was formerly called the Lenin Museum. Out front of it is a grand statue of the hero Manasigan. As I was getting ready to continue my walk, I was looking down at my map when suddenly the water fountain stopped flowing and I heard the sound of gun butts hitting the ground behind me. I looked up and saw these guards marching their way toward the front of the building. I followed their fancy procession to witness the changing of the guards. I happened to be there at the right time, but from what I've read, it happens every hour starting at 9 a.m. until 7 p.m.
Bütün muhtarın öğretisi, muhtarın öğretisi. Sen kokşuş bedel, görmüyor musun? Bunlar başka çalışıyor. Sen okşuş sıra öğretmesin.
Motor pulau. Kailan na. Ben de onu getirdim. Peki sen de dili tatlı.
Sağdaş bak, muhtarın öğretisi mi? Ben kokşuş bedel.
But to speak them today. Mungkin pulau. Itu the kecil pulau. Kailan yakta giderse, and the gold dust them.
Continuing around the backside of the State Museum, you'll find a huge 20-ton bronze statue of Lenin, again with that outstretched arm to show you the way to communism. This was actually in a more prominent position out front of the museum, but it got moved to the backside in 2003. And if you learn the Cyrillic alphabet, like I suggested in my nuts and bolts video, you will be able to read what the letters spell. On the side of the Kyrgyz National Academic Drama Theater is a huge concrete relief. I couldn't find much info about this one other than that the building was commissioned in 1970. And there's another relief on the other side that I missed. After the theater, I headed to the Revolution Militant Square to see the Martyrs of the Revolution Monument erected in 1978, which is to commemorate those who died fighting for equality and social change. The woman is this person, a social and women's rights activist who was murdered in 1934 when she was only 24 years old by anti-Soviet partisan forces for her beliefs and actions. Behind it are other statues of socialist warriors who are also victims of the revolution. I ended my tour that day by crossing the street and checking out this Kyrgyz telecom building and clock tower. I was just obsessed with this one. Everything from the box-like buildings to the skinny rectangle windows and skinny rectangle tiles to these weird goofy lamp things, and the piece de resistance, the massive clock tower. I loved it. After exploring for hours, I got back to the house to find a message from my Airbnb host letting me know it was Independence Day. I headed back out to Alatu Square to people watch and check out the musical and dance performances. It was a great way to end my first full day exploring. And next time, we're going to finish our Soviet scavenger hunt and check out more of the city. Plus, stay tuned for my first taste testing video. If you want to know when these come out, hit subscribe and notify, and I will see you next time.